What can we expect for the collective energy this week, January 4th to January 11th? This week, as always, I pulled one rune and three tarot cards. The first card for the situation that the collective finds ourselves in, the second card for advice, and the third card for outcome. So the rune that I pulled was Dagaz, and Dagaz stands for incredible change and transformation. Transformation that's so enormous that the old ways of doing things begin to seem impossible to live with. It stands for daybreak. It stands for night turning into light. It's a clear turning point, is what Dagaz is. It's a very exciting rune to pull for a weekly energy because it brings a shift in awareness that cannot be undone. And I think we as a collective are hoping for that, are striving for that, for a general awakening of awareness amongst us that we share, that doesn't involve division. So it also, Dagaz also stands for arrival out of struggle, things that begin to make sense that once didn't. It portends incredible achievement, which is very exciting. But don't get too haughty, it says. Continue to work as though you are striving for hope, and all will fall into place. So as I meditated on this rune, I saw, interestingly, reptilian energy being superimposed over the face of those who believe that they hold power in our society. And you can put whatever face you want into that, in place. It can be anyone. And to me, this represents not a negative, not bodies being controlled or, energies coming and controlling humanity, but rather it represents a new understanding from us, from the collective, that things aren't what they seem. We do have control over our environment. We just have control in a way that we didn't quite understand before. So it's not danger. It's more signifying surrender. Materially, what can this mean? A person in your life who seems to hold all the cards will suddenly no longer intimidate you. You might be able to work with them rather than in spite of them. The truth about all of the wars that we seem to find ourselves in, particularly in the US and the West, uh, the truth about those will come to light, and we will begin to resist that fight that we seem to constantly be seeking. Love will begin to balloon in our hearts in place of that war, which is just a different way of looking at the world. And perhaps this week for the collective, the shift will be that we will start to see that we actually don't need to fight for what we have. We can just have what we have and live in it with love. So that is what the Dagaz represents for me this week. For the tarot spread that I pulled, the first card I pulled, which stood for the situation that we find ourselves in this week, was the Ten of Pentacles. And to me, this represents a collective concern for legacy, for old systems, and the way that we can make them new, for security and sustainability in those new systems, being afraid of letting go of the old because the new might not be as stable, but realizing that in fact the new is more stable than the old. So it's about looking at what we are building around us and what about it will last and what about it will not last. This brings to mind, once again, strongly this week, the the situation for democracy in the West. There seems to be a fear that it is collapsing. But is it? Or are our expectations for how it evolves collapsing? And is there a difference? I saw, interestingly, the Statue of Liberty on a small rowboat filled with national flags from all over the world. And there was a great city in the background from which she was departing. Where was she going? Perhaps deeper into the hearts and minds of those who live in it. So, not leaving the city, but coming closer to those who inhabit the city. So it's about not the structures, but about the things that build up the structure. And what builds up every structure that we see around us? We do. So it's about going deeper into the heart and shifting our perception about what structures are and what they can become. Materially, what does this mean? You may be asked to let go of what you believe to be true in favor of something far grander, and you may not see the grandiosity of that new thing yet, but have faith, it is grand. This could be a new relationship, new life, new home, new job, new outlook. All may seem frightening in the process of this change, but this week the energy is asking us to hold space for the new and to believe that it is as secure as, if not more secure than the old. I see a great population holding hands, all races, all ages, all genders, all ideological beliefs, holding hands in peace. And this is where we're heading with our energy this week. Have faith. So for the second card, for the advice position, I pulled the Ace of Pentacles. So this asks us to take a very small step toward making the Ten of Pentacles our reality. Start small and spread the sacred seeds of your life. And I see a beautiful older woman working on a garden, and that garden is humanity blooming into its true self. And materially, what does this ask? What does this mean? It suggests as advice to start writing that book, clear out that attic space, post those items that you want to give away, have the talk with the person you love, do these things so that the Ten of Pentacles can bloom. And for the last card, the last position, which is the outcome position for our collective energy this week, I pulled the Knight of Wands, also known as the Son of Wands in the Wild Unknown deck. So this is about the inner work, the time in the garden, the quiet building of resources and belief, not remaining quiet forever. It is the passion behind our desires to make all of those things happen, flowing forward. It is the collective changing the trajectory of our movement, of our ascension, I think. No leader, no country, no war can change what we are and what we have as a collective. And that includes everyone, including those leaders and all those people fighting those wars. We are a collective, and none of those things individually can change where we're headed. And so, what we can do now is allow the passion that is within us to come out and flow outward to make those changes happen. I see loving protests in the streets. I see powerful handshakes promising wisdom and hope. I see petitions being signed by all sides. And materially, what does that mean? It means that you will make moves this week. Think about the arena of your life. What stands out? That is what will move. Enjoy it, but don't burn out. Sustain, as the Ten of Pentacles asks. So, in summary, this week will have a grounded beginning that leads to inspired action. It's an exciting one. Tune in, use the wolf moon to channel the complexity of your intuition and into action, and be brave. Happy New Year.